Thuya occidentalis is its scientific name. It's really papery, really thin. Oh, that was a bug. A spruce would have needles that go all the way around. LNT, leave no trees, you know? Well, here we are at Northwaters Base Camp. Today, I just wanted to talk to everybody about some trees that exist here. We're gonna start off with a birch tree. Here's a nice stand of birch trees. I guess the only tree that you could confuse them with is a poplar. The huge difference is that poplars don't have flaky bark like this. It's really papery, really thin. There's a lot of oils in that bark, so it's really flammable and super easy to start a campfire to cook dinner over. The one thing about that though is if you take birch bark off of, oh, little bug, look, so cute. I wonder what he's thinking about. If you take birch bark off of a tree that's alive, it's really bad if eventually, as you're peeling bark, it takes off a huge layer that goes all the way around the tree and it can't get food and water up and down from its leaves to its root system and vice versa. This one is a white birch or a paper birch. Another kind of birch that exists is a yellow birch. So a cool thing I learned about yellow birch is the new leaves. So like the very end part where there's new growth in here, if you break that off and chew on it, if it's a yellow birch, it'll taste like spearmint gum. This is not a yellow birch. It tastes like a leaf. So here we are in a little balsam tree forest. They smell so good. So a great way of identifying a balsam fir by its needles is looking at how they grow off of the branch. As you can see, it's kind of in one flat plane. A spruce would have needles that go all the way around in sort of a spiral. Then the only other needle that exists that does this in this area is an eastern hemlock. The balsam fir needles are much longer. So an eastern hemlock, they'll look really short and squat. That's the other way that you can compare and figure out what you've got in your hand. Another thing about balsam fir, which I learned recently, is their bark is smooth except for these little bumps. And these bumps are actually what the namesake of the tree is. So the liquid that comes out of here, which we probably usually call sap, this is actually called balsam. So it's an oily resin. And you can tell when you feel it, it's not sticky like sap, it's oil. So that's a cool fact that I learned about balsam fir. I want to do a cedar that's near the water. So I'm just going to walk over here until I find one. Great, so the next one on our list is the cedar, and it's my personal favorite tree. There's something really cool about it. It is a coniferous tree and it is an evergreen. Its leaves are so different. It doesn't have needles in the same way. They're flat and they're flexible and they're soft. And if you look really closely at them, it looks like they're made up of these like little tiny circles or sections that create one full leaf. And the bark is so different as well. It's got this long, soft, shaggy bark that smells awesome. Yeah, the whole tree smells great. It's also rot resistant, so it's good at growing near water, and the root systems hold together the earth. A lot of credit goes towards cedars for keeping the shape of land around lakes and rivers together. Thuya occidentalis is its scientific name. It's one of the only ones I ever memorized. I don't know why. So that's it for today. There's obviously likely hundreds of more trees in the forest, like even just around and behind me. I hope that this made this seem interesting and made you curious, and maybe this summer you'll head out into your own backyard and see if you can notice something about a tree near you. This is good for a branch for a red pine. Can I just rip it off and no one will know I did it? Don't tell anyone.